What is going on, guys and girls? How doing today? It's Tanky Roleplay here once again, finally with a new build, and this is the big anniversary build, guys. This is build number 40. Can you fucking imagine 40 builds that I created over the last 3 years? This is just absolutely insane. I can't fucking believe this in the number, honestly, myself. And you can probably understand why I'm a little bit exhausted on the game. I've been working so incredibly hard to deliver all the content for you guys. Thousands of people playing my builds. I can highly appreciate this, guys. Thank you so much for following me for all these years. Now, what about the build? This is the Pestilent Strike Pathfinder, and it was supposed to be my league starter for the Heist League, but I just was not happy with how the league was, and it was like a gardening micromanagement league. I just didn't want to play it, and so I played this build on standard. I just rebuilt some of my existing characters into that. So I played the standard practically, and that's probably why you thought I quit the league. Absolutely not. I didn't quit PoE. I didn't quit whatever doing content for PoE. I'm just taking a break and having fun with the other games, but it doesn't matter that I'm not gonna bring you guys more fucking insane content and more crazy ass shit builds for the Path of Exile. So let's take a closer look to the Pestilent Strike Pathfinder and why it's so incredibly insane, because honestly I believe this is the strongest poison build I've ever played, and possibly might be the strongest poison variation of the build in the game itself, and there are reasons for that, and I explain you guys just in a minute why I think so. Before we go further into the video, I would like to stop for a second and thank my Patreon supporters and Twitch subscribers. You guys are making a huge impact on my life and allow me to get going and continue creating content for all of you. Thank you so much. If you want to make it into the list and immortalize yourself on the internet, join Patreon and get sneak peeks and behind the scenes footage of my work. I'm always looking for feedback on my content, guys, in order to improve, so making sure you always leave comment, like or dislike. Your reaction is very important. And remember,
you, yes you, are making a difference.
so what's the deal with the skill itself? Why it's so crazy good? So if you take a look at the skill itself, so when you hit the enemy, it creates some kind of a debuff on the enemy, and if the enemy kills while still being poisoned, it basically proliferates the portion of the debuff on the enemies nearby, effectively creating a huge poison proliferation, like innate poison proliferation. On top of that, the Nature's Reprisal Ascendancy passive of the Pathfinder allows the enemies to be poisoned if you kill the poison while affected by the flag. So these two things combined together creates a perfect synergy for the poison skills as a whole on the Ascendancy, and the skill itself is just a natural poison prolif effected without any use of things like the Bino's kitchen knife or anything like that. So just creates a fantastic clear speed. It also is a strike skill with a +3 melee strike range, which on top, if you take the Hunter Gloves, which allows you to strike an extra target with the strike skill, creates a really fantastic AoE and good range for the strike skill without the necessity of using the ancestral call support, which basically was kind of the mandatory thing for a while, but this time you just don't need it and just can go full 6-link DPS without the ancestral call support whatsoever. This is very nice. Another very important thing to mention about is just how tanky the build is. We are talking about the 50,000 evasion character transformed into armor, so we're running about 50,000 armor, which makes it literally like unkillable against physical target, against physical damage, and this is the hottest hitting damage in the game, because you can cap, elemental resistance, but physical you just can't, and it's always a big fucking problem unless you kind of convert Feast to Ellie and then block the Ellie portion with resistances. But just straight physical damage reduction is really hard to get unless you are some tanky Juggernaut or something like that. But this is not the case with this build, because it's so easy to get the armor based on your evasion, and you can easily stack a shit ton of evasion. And thanks to the Pathfinder Ascendancy and Pathfinder as a whole, there's 100% flask uptime on this build, and all your evasion flasks are up, and it makes it so that you always have all your armor, which is pretty insane for any build to have things like that. That's why I like the quality of life of this Pathfinder. It's really hard to get back to any other build, after you play Pathfinder for a while, because all your flasks are always up. It's so friggin' cool. So this is also one of the strongest part of the build. And the last thing, which is also not the least is very important, is how cheap the build is. It's literally like super cheap, and there's nothing crazy, just the perfect form of the cherubims and the self-crafted claws, or you can use the wasp nest for a while. But self-crafted claws is not a big deal. You can get the aberrants and corrodids and get your endgame weapons. This is it. Cheap, fantastic, strong build. Let's take a look in path building. Alright guys, this is POB here for this exact setup that I'm running on the videos. And as you can see, we are playing as the Pathfinder Ascendancy, and the first thing you should be getting is the Nature's Boon, because this is the bread and butter of the Flask Finder. You get flask charges every 3 seconds. This is absolute GG. It allows you to stack a massive amount of evasion early on and use all these juicy flasks. The second, I would recommend the Nature's Reprisal, just for the some little bit of a poison proliferation and chaos damage increase. And the third is Massive Toxicity. Also boost your chaos damage, as well as give you a huge boost towards the Herald of Agony. Yes, we will be using the Herald of Agony on one link as well. And the last is just the Uberlab, is the Master Alchemist for the ailment immunity. This is also absolutely sick OP thing that only Flask Finder has. So starting over here, grab some Juicy Life over there, grab some Flask Effectiveness here, grab some shit over here, just starting to get some block. And the first thing you want to get up there to get some Claw, Attack, Damage, Leech, and Mana. This is very, very important. This is the first thing you need to get as any Claw character. Just get this, and you don't need to worry about the Leech, and especially about the fucking Mana Blast. This solves all the problems. After that, you can do whatever you like. You can grab some life. You can start going, taking some poison damage, like poison damage over time. Just chance to poison. You can grab some this. You can grab some that. And after that, you can start grabbing the attack damage and some block as well. Because we're stacking some block, we got 75% block chance, which is actually a fucking ton of block on top of the ridiculous amount of armor. So speaking about the armor, we get about 40,000 evasion based on the flasks, and the evasion increases on the tree. And using the armor reflexes, as you can see, we can convert all the evasion into armor, which makes us incredibly, insanely fucking tanky against physical damage, which is absolutely a big deal in my opinion. This is one of the reasons why the build is so incredibly tanky, even considering very low life pool. You see less than 5,000 life, which is very low, but we don't really give a shit because we practically, mitigate all of this crap. And after that, after you get this, just grab the dirty techniques, and then transition up to the clothing chain. Grab the dervish, grab some fat golem's blood, and get the master of the arena for the strike range. This is also very, very nice to have, because we are playing the Pestilent Strike, which is a strike build. It just fucking needs range. After that, it's mostly just getting some jewels. The very last thing that you'll be getting is the Thread of Hope. This is the little trick. The reason why you need Thread of Hope is it'll basically just freeze up a lot of traveling nodes, and you can actually juice up yourself with some juicy Megalomaniac or some cluster jewels down below. This is kind of the only reason why Thread of Hope is there. It's not mandatory. My character has it, but I don't use it. But since this is the build, and I want to show you guys what you can do in this game, what you can achieve, right? This is what you can potentially try to get, because it gives you some really juicy nodes like Revenge of the Haunted. You can also get the Swift Venoms, and you can also get the Heart of the Oak over here. You're grabbing 4 really, really nice nodes with that. highly recommended to get Thread of Hope. So let's take a look at the skills. Since I've been playing on Standard and not the Harvest League, I decided I'm gonna cash into the Awaken gems, but the only expensive gem was, of course, the fucking Awaken Multi-Strike and Melee Fizz. The rest were like next to none, easily achievable. None of these are really required. Even just the normal Multi-Strike and Melee Fizz, absolutely fine. It's just more and more damage, guys. That's how the Awaken gems work. They're like 4 to 7% more damage on the gem. Nothing spectacular, to be honest. So this is the 6-link, Pestilent Strike, Deadly Ailments, Added Chaos, Multi-Strike, Melee Fizz, and Unbiled Enemies. The free link golem setup I have on the custom damage taken because I just fucking gave up casting golem. He died all the time. He gives me some attack speed, which allowed me to stack even more faster poison. So I just put him on custom damage taken, so he will always resurrect all the fucking time. The most important thing for your chaos damage taken increase is, of course, the basic Wither spell totem with multiple totems and faster casting, so you can stack your shit ton of Wither stacks over there. As you can see, is always the max. So this is pretty much the mandatory thing to have on any chaos build. The auras are Herald of Agony, Malevolence, and a little bit of a precision to reach up your high hit chance. It's not 100%, but it will also help dramatically, in my opinion. The movement skill is Whirling Blades with 45. I don't have any blood magic here because I fucking don't care. It generates this little bit of mana anyway, and I leech it with the nodes on the tree, so I don't care. Just 45 Whirling Blades and the Val Molten Shell and custom damage taken. Press the manual Molten Shell, Val Molten Shell while you go into some big boss fat damage. But I also prefer a Molten Shell proccing all the time on the custom damage taken. This is also very good. The another utility is, of course, the Blood Rage, Ancestral Protector for more attack speed, and the Arctic Armor because I'm wearing the perfect form, and I will explain why I need that. That's about it. Aspect of the Spider is existing on my helm. I just crafted it on the helm. You can craft it on the boots, on the belt, anywhere else. If you can stick it in, it's great. If you can't, just don't do it. But it's like 15% more damage, guys. This is very, very high DPS, and also a great movement speed debuff for the enemies. Also highly recommended. Alright, let's talk about the actual items that I have. And let's start with the weapons, which are the crafted Imperial Claws, which is basically life gain on enemy hit by attacks. We don't need mana because we're leeching mana anyway, so just get the Imperial Claws. These are really, really fast, strong, high crit chance, so highly recommended. I crafted 2 of these using the Aberrants and the Corroded, so it can give you more damage to poisons and flat chaos. This is the only thing you need to care about, and then you multi-mod the chaos damage over time and attack speed with quality. That's it. You don't need anything else. You don't care about anything else. The helmet is just absolutely generic high armor helmet with the Herald of Agony reduced mana reservation enchant. You don't care about the rest, just resistance, some high life, and the Herald of Agony reservation. If you can get the minus chaos res here, this will be absolutely fucking GG, but honestly, resistances were a little tough on me, and I also couldn't fit the spider anywhere else because I was crafting the boots as well. So if you can get the minus chaos res, try to get it. This will be absolutely crazy, but if you can't, no big deal. The body armors are actually 2 options, 2 best unique options. One is the perfect form, and this is highly defensive armor because it increases the dex, giving you more evasion. Also, it reduces the Arctic Armor mana reservation, so it frees up the Arctic Armor reservation for you. And Arctic Armor reduces further your physical damage reduction, increases your physical damage reduction, and chills the enemies that hit you, which is really great. And evasion rating is increased by Cap Cold Res, also increases your evasion, and gives you the phase acros, which gives you the spell dodge chance, which is a big thing because we are stacking the attack block. As you can see, we got 75% block, but the spell dodge is a little bit problematic. Also, having the little bit of a spell, kind of a dodge, is really amazing. This is very strong chest. The second best is definitely the Cherubim's Maleficence. As you can see, it gives you more damage, but unfortunately it has no utility. It has no kind of damage reduction, just pure fucking DPS there. So if you want to go all in, go with the cherubims. If you want to be a little more defensive, get the perfect form. The gloves are actually was very lucky craft. I crafted it myself, and this is intimidate and an additional strike with a little bit of life. Wait, do I have intimidate here? Wait a second. Yeah, it has intimidate here. So yeah, if you just get the strike with some high, let's say, life and resistance, some attack speed, this is already fantastic. If you can get something useful on top of that, like intimidate, this will be absolutely insane. But you see, I don't have life there on that, but I don't care really. I don't really need that much life. Just intimidate and strike is all I care about. This is absolutely fantastic. The boots are this, and these are the absolutely perfect boots that I found, but unfortunately I wasn't able to buy it. I crafted the boots myself, but these are like the perfect example of the boots with a hunter mod, poison inflict damage faster, and also plus level of socketed chaos gems. If you can get this is the pinnacle of what you need to get. If you can just get the poison with some life and movement speed, already great. But if you can get the chaos gems, this is absolutely silly, guys. The amulet is the hunter, once again with the chaos damage dot and the crafted chaos damage to attacks. I crafted this myself also. It's pretty much shit, but I don't care. It's kind of okay. It works. The annoyment is the corruption, as you can see, and this is one of the best you can get. I also wanted to get some good strength on this amulet because I'm lacking strength for some high strength requirement gems, like 45, which is very good to have. The ring that we'll be using is the Circle of Nostalgia with the Herald of Agony and Herald of Agony increased buff effect. This is actually a very cheap ring, about an Exile, even less, like 50 chaos, 40 chaos. The one that I have, I actually bought this on standard and I cashed in heavily because it has absolutely a ridiculous implicit with the onslaught on the hit. This is a very expensive ring, but I just wanted to get it to get this free onslaught, guys, and I just cashed in like crazy. If you could get something like that, it would be absolutely silly, but if you don't, no big deal. Just get the absolutely any high stats Circle of Nostalgia for your Herald of Agony buffs and the Herald of Agony itself. The second ring, absolutely generic, just filling the stats, intelligence, life, resistance, no big deal. The belt is once again absolutely standard. I actually crafted it myself as well, some chaos damage, high life, res, and that's about it. The jewels should be something like that with just life, attack speed, increased damage over time. If you can get something useful here, like extra res, whatever, doesn't really matter. So, the flask. The flask is the jade with the flat evasion, Rumi's concoction for the block, Corralitos mandatory, absolutely, that's like so much damage. Look at the damage with the Corralito, like 40% more damage with that. Witchfire Brew for the Despair Curse and the Divine Life Flask. Pretty much it. The Cluster Jewels is the Megalomaniac, which gives me chaos resistance and boosts some of the all rest, which I lose from the Thread of Hope, as well as the Touch of Cruelty passive, which also gives me chaos skills have 10% chance to hinder enemies on hit with 30% reduced damage. Enemies hindered by you take 10% increased chaos damage. 10% increased damage is the multiplier. This is very huge. The normal jewels are just mana, poison, and attack speed, nothing crazy. And then Thread of Hope, as you can see, it's over here. Like I said, it's absolutely not mandatory. There's like super endgame thing, and it frees up some of the travel points over there and allows you to actually get the juicy megalomaniacs and some kind of a cluster jewels here and spread clusters in this area, or maybe even in this area. But this is kind of pointless, is in not doing projectile damage. So this is the best place because it gives you just flat evasion, and this is the only decent place where you can stick your cluster jewels over here. That's about it. As you can see, the passive the bandits are just two passives, and the panions are Solaris and Tukahama. That's about it. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the build guide. Like I said, the build is very surprising. It's very good as a league starter. It's very cheap. I only crafted the claws, and the rest was just things off the ground, and the rest of the crafts were honestly very easy. The belt was just a very generic one. The boots were very easy to get. No one really cares about these mods on the boots, so it's easy to buy. You can use wasp nests as the generic poison claws, like no-brainer use of the weapon till you actually get crafted claws. And I spend most of the time with just a wasp nest, no big of a deal. So very surprising build, very tanky, pretty damn fast, and it was the Deathless Cyrus kill at Awakening 8, the hardest possible difficulty. As you can see, you can see the whole video in the build guide. So thanks for watching, guys. I wish you all the best luck in the heist, or if you'll be watching this video after the heist league and whatever league there will be at this point. Thanks for watching, boys and girls, and see you next time.